Hello, I'm Richard Raffan, and in this video I'm going to show you the tools I use to turn wood. And I'll also point out a few which, if you're not sure what to buy, will at least get you started. These are the tools I use for facework, which includes all bowls, platters, anything flat, or with the grain lying at 90 degrees to the lathe axis. So I have this 1/2 inch spindle gouge, which is a 13mm diameter. This is a 9/16, which is 16mm. Now these two I use mostly for roughing down the outsides of bowls. This is a 3/8 10mm spindle gouge. I use that for all detailing, cutting beads, cutting a foot, all that kind of stuff. 3 bowl gouges. Mostly I use the middle one, the 3/8. This is a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and a 1/2 inch. And these are how they're sold. None of the measurements on these seem to match what they're sold as, so that's it, but those are the ones I use. A 3/4 inch 9mm square end scraper, used mostly for putting a little shoulder inside a roughed out bowl, so I can then remount it for so I can complete the bowl. 2 bowl scrapers. I like a scraper which has a radius just inside the curve I'm trying to cut. I never use these near a rim. These are used across the bottom third of a bowl, and this curve will get me around just about anything. On much smaller bowls, that will do the job. Over here we have 2 shear scrapers. This is the one I use most. It's got a little nick out of the side here. It's rounded on the underside, so it slides easily up and down the rest. So I've taken the curved bit away, so I've got a nice really sharp corner there, which allows me to shear scape right into the bottom of a bead. This one is used when I'm at the stage of hollowing a bowl, and if I need to shear scrape up the outside, then I need the tool skewed the other way. And finally at the end, this is the small Kelton undercutter, which I use for getting inside very small, what I call pots, little enclosed bowls, which usually have rounded bases, and I'll be making a video on that sooner or later. If I just had to pick out just 2 or 3 tools for you to start with, it would be the 1/2 inch spindle gouge, the 3/8 spindle gouge, probably the 3/8 deep fluted bowl gouge, and a square end scraper and one of these. Now all these are high-speed steel, and they're made either by Henry Taylor, Robert Sorby, and there's the Kelton at the end, and I think there's a D-way in here too. These are the tools I used for spindle work, any work between centres where the grain lies parallel to the lathe axis, and for hollowing into end grain. So you've got 3 skew chisels, a 1 inch 25mm, 3/4 inch 19mm, and a 1/2 inch, which is 13mm. Couldn't think for a minute. The one I use most is the one in the middle, the 19mm. Then I have 2 parting tools. Both are wider at the bottom than at the top, so they're less likely to bind. You'll find a whole range of parting tools, but this is the one I like, and this one is much narrower. It's a D-way one, and I use that on boxes so I don't waste any material, and it helps when I'm matching the grain and that kind of thing. Mostly I rough down anything 2 inches square or below. I rough down with the 1-inch skew chisel, but if I'm roughing down with the gouge at all, it is this open continental style gouge rather than the deep fluted ones. This one measures 25mm across there, 1 inch. Then we've got 2 spindle gouges, a 1/2 inch, 13mm, and the 3/8, which is 10mm. Then a 3/4 inch square end scraper for getting inside boxes, pencil pots, that kind of thing. 90mm diameter. This is a 1/2 inch one. And then I have 2 round nose, that's a 3/4 inch and a 1 inch. Asymmetric grind, because I find you very rarely need to use the right wing on a scraper like that. You get a lot which are domed, so the first thing I would do with those is make them asymmetric. Much more use. When you're just starting out, you won't need to buy all these tools at once. Just buy them as you need, which is the best advice. I would start off with a 3/4 inch skew chisel, some sort of parting tool. There's quite a range out there. You don't need a roughing gouge because you can rough down with the 1/2 inch spindle gouge. At the absolute essential, you'd probably start with the 3/4 skew, a parting tool, and the 1/2 inch spindle gouge. And then if you're going to do any hollowing, any kind of end grain work, you'd then want probably a 3/4 inch square end scraper and a 3/4 inch round nose. And with that you can do a whole range of projects.